What'd say?
I got a lot going on in my life. I got a lot going on. We got a lot going on in life. I got a baby girl on the way. This past season, there was so much stuff that like off the show had to be dealt with and handled because we're incredibly lucky to be at the position in which we are at. Like very, very lucky that our people watch every single day. But there comes some problems with all that type of stuff too. Like not problems, but like let's say
headaches,
obstacles.
Bumps in the road.
The way like a positive CEO person would spin it. There comes obstacles and chances to get better and like all that type of shit. No, what it comes with is like a lot of just busy work almost, like time, checked out from life almost. Like have to do this. I have a baby girl coming coming into the world. Here in a couple months,
hell yeah.
I never had visions or thoughts that I would be a father because I always said that if I was to have a child, I would want to have generational wealth because I wouldn't want my child to have any of the stresses or anything that potentially brings into your life. That although, when people get money, it is not perfect. Life is not perfect when you get money either. A lot of new problems come. I always had it in my mind that I wanted the freedom opportunity. Like, hey, you're not going to have to be bogged down with just surviving to do your thing. So I always had that thought. Never thought that could potentially happen. So I just assumed I'm going to work my entire life. That'll be my excuse to never have a kid. And I'll just be alone. Like that's literally, I'll just be alone. Like, people make movies about how miserable those people are. For me, it was like, fuck it. I don't mind. I have a good time. I'll just be alone. Then, I met Samantha, my wife, and she would be the greatest mom of all time. Like that's like, I think the human that she is, she would be the greatest mom of all time. And then we got pregnant and then, it didn't work out and it was very, very dramatic. And then it happened again. And through those times, I got to experience like, oh, I'm going to be a dad, like thinking about me being a dad. And every time I've fallen in love with the idea that I am going to be able to help shape a human to help society, hopefully. But to do that, you got to be present. Like you got to be around. Like that is something you have to be. You hear Hall of Fame speeches that every guy in the NFL basically goes in. He says, I apologize to my kids. I wasn't around enough. You hear a lot of successful people that normally say, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. So like, I don't want to be a person that doesn't spend time with my family, even though I was never that human for a long portion of my life. I've kind of changed the way I view things. So in an effort to make my life a lot easier, I'm exploring the options of maybe joining a network or a family, a community that could help handle a lot of stuff that we're running into at this stage. In the sportsbook bucket is a massive bucket right now. So the fine people at FanDuel who we get along with, we've been very lucky to be a part of since day one. I mean, we've been the number one sportsbook since literally day one of legalized gambling. We've been there through the whole thing, got a lot of pride in FanDuel, very thankful for everything that FanDuel and I have done and maybe even do in the future. But like FanDuel understands that. And they have a TV channel, but they do not have a network that would alleviate a lot of the issues that we are currently. So they've been very understanding with us. We understand your situation. They've been great partners since the beginning. They're our exclusive sportsbook. They have zero ownership of my company. They are just our exclusive sportsbook. That's what they've been this entire time. But I think people have assumed that we're a family because that's how we want it to be. Like, hey, they're our people. So they've been very open with it. So I've been able to have, some conversations with some places, and that New York Post article, I think, is going to, I read that thing. I'm like, well, there's already like 2 more places that have, hey, heard this was potential.
Sports Business Journal.
Internet. Yeah, that was bananas.
Yeah, they just basically wrote one off of that.
Yeah, this is a crazy time. Just know that it's crazy. I don't expect all this shit. There's like over 100,000 people watching right now. That's a joke. That is a joke. That is 140. What?
Oh, really?
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Woo! So, like, I'm just trying to make my life easier. We could have never expected we'd get to this point. We appreciate, because you got to go into an app, you got to find us in an app, then you got to do it. Like, it's a little bit of a journey, and we're not necessarily in any deal with YouTube either. So it's not like as soon as you get on YouTube, it's like, hey, fucking watch this shit. Yeah, like that is not how this whole thing is. So the fact is, we appreciate the hell out of you so much. I am forever indebted into you, but also with where we have gotten to, it would be nice to be able to just live a little bit of a life.
Yeah, relax.
You know, just a little bit of one, because I love my wife and I can't wait for the next stage. So these are just conversations that are happening. Nothing is concrete. We're going to be talking about FanDuel through March Madness here. But this is just because there's conversations that are happening where there's a chance that the FanDuel relationship could jeopardize a conversation that's happening somewhere else. And it's like FanDuel's been cool, like, hey, you got to have your happiness more so than anything.
Yes.
But also there's a chance we end up somewhere and FanDuel is the thing.
Exactly.
This will exist though. Just know that this YouTube thing here, this will always exist.
Always free.
Yeah, it'll always, so know that the show will always be free. Yes, like that is such a great, we have to remember that YouTube will still cook. Like, we're in a good spot and when it comes to that, because the people that watch, I would never want to fucking offend you, to be honest, because you are doing us a massive favor. So that's why whenever I get asked by the writer of that particular article, Marshawn, it's like, I don't know how easy this is to explain in an answer to you. There's a lot of moving pieces. Like, we have no idea what's going to happen. We know that the show is going to continue to go on. We know that we love this show, but I think I'm just trying to have to take some shit off of my plate so that, you know, I can maybe be a better human, better dad, better husband in the future. Because this last football season, my wife's a rock star or whatever, but boy, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it was 7 days a week.
Dude, I would walk in here some mornings just like,
All right.
boys, I'm gonna drink like 3 of these green teas here before we go live. I'm gonna take a 5-hour energy. Like, let's go, you know? And I would utilize you guys as like my lifeline almost. Like, so I very much appreciate you guys. And we're just gonna continue going and doing our thing. But speaking of, the New York Post wrote an article about COVID-19, which also led to Wall Street Journal. Him doing that as his picture, I think, is a vital point here, that Aaron Rodgers is his own fucking guy.
Bingo.
He's going to do this. I did not expect to get into that whole New York Post article.
No, but you didn't mean to either. Like, the COVID led to New York Post, and obviously what were we talking about?
Gotta address it.
We have to address it, which has gotten us in trouble. Like, if a headline comes across the internet, we are going to have to address it if it's in our world.
Yeah, are you going to sue yourself?
Well, so that's interesting. That is something.
Because you did just, there's a chance, I mean, and you might be careful, Samantha might sue you now too.
My wife?
Yeah.
Don't need that.
No, that'd be.
I don't think she would.
I don't think so either, but I didn't think the other guy would either.
You were quoted in the article with quotes coming from you, so I don't think you can sue, you know, yourself for defamation or anything.
Maybe though.
You know, you were in there.
It is 2023.
I mean, I should think about it, huh? And I'm gonna bankrupt me.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
that'll
if you
benefit
want to go
you.
down that road, that's where it ends.
Well, that's what New York Post articles and Wall Street Journal articles do. You know what I mean? That's what it leads to normally.
It is.
They stir the pot because I mean, you did. Was it you who said you're daring? But how fucking daring are you?
That was in,
that was
Andrew Marshawn.
Marshawn.
Yeah, that was Marshawn who wrote that.
I thought those were your words too.
That was a hilarious line. What if I said, I'm daring?
Fucking daring.
I'm pretty fucking daring.
But how daring am I?
That was a great descriptor there.
That was sweet.
He's daring, but how daring is he?
That was good.
Yeah, great
right.
line.
Yeah, read that a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, though. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I've always just made decisions like, I want to enjoy my life. I would like to enjoy my life. And if we can profit off of it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're having a good time. Can we make the world a little better? Well, I think so. Do we give back? I think so. It's like,
That's bold of you. That's
it's
very daring.
daring.
You know who
It's
else
daring.
is
It's like,
daring?
we're just trying to do whatever, we're just trying to take the best path to enjoy life and
Bingo.
make it for everybody. You know, like that. It's an interesting business plan and model, but it is our business plan and model.
It's called